Now, Leslye Headland is either desperate or simply delusional. So now she's making a claim out there right now that apparently, well, Decent Star Wars The Acolyte by Leslye Headland under Kathleen Kennedy is what has better fight scenes than The Matrix and The Phantom Menace. No, now here's what she was quoted saying. Second unit director Chris Cowan and I were shooting for immortality. We were like, we are effing going for it. We want to top the Duel of Fates from The Phantom Menace. We want to top the train station in The Matrix. We will settle for nothing less. I will leave it up to the viewer as whether or not we have achieved that. And she added, but in my heart of hearts, I was like, we achieved that as far as I'm concerned. Well, apparently Leslye Headland is actually believing that they've achieved this because of the fact that, they think Leslye Headland simply believes that the Acolyte is excellent. So, welcome back to Views with Hughes, your agenda for news. This is Jerome Hughes. Now, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, coming in from, the Disney show site Collider with the link of the article in the description, Leslye Headland wants to make the lightsaber scene in Disney Star Wars The Acolyte finale better than the fight scenes from the iconic movies like The Matrix. Now, Disney Star Wars The Acolyte showrunner Leslye Headland is confident that the final fight scene in Disney Star Wars will surpass even the most iconic duels in the cinematic history, including those from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and The Matrix. Now, according to Leslye Headland, this climatic battle isn't merely comparable to the legendary duel between Darth Maul and the Jedi or the breathtaking fights in The Matrix. She believes it actually outshines them. In her interview, Disney Star Wars fight scene is a groundbreaking achievement, elevating the genre to new heights with its intensity and execution, as she claims. Now, the highly anticipated duel takes place between Sith and Lord Kamir and Jedi Master Soul, who engage in an all-out life-or-death confrontation. And the conflict is driven by deep personal motivations, including their love for their families and their complex emotions surrounding Osha. Now, the fight unfolds in the Binak ruins, an eerie and ancient setting once inhabited by a space witch coven in the series. And this backdrop not only enhances the visual drama, but it also imbues the scene with a foreboding mystical quality that intensifies the stakes of their battle. Now, both Kamir and Soul unleash their full array of powers and emotions, making the duel not only a physical clash, but also an emotional and psychological struggle. But Disney Star Wars distinguishes itself with this fight scene, though, through its impressive, people call it impressive choreography and visual clarity, and it also shows a dynamic, animated, inspired movements that that people claim keep the viewers engaged. But it's certainly one of the most compelling and well executed in the entire series, as Leslye Headland would say. But unlike any other action sequences that suffer from chaotic camera work and difficult to follow choreography, this fight scene allows, as she says, audiences to clearly see the different moves and strategies the combatants, and from the combatants, the combination of clear visuals and innovative fighting techniques makes the scene, as she calls, memorable and impactful. Now, Leslye Headland has boldly claimed that the fight scene between Kamir and Soul is not just one of the best in Disney Star Wars. She asserts that it's among the finest fight scenes that ever produced in Hollywood cinema. And this declaration actually highlights her ambition and the high standards she has set for the series. Now, it's also particularly noteworthy that Leslye Headland made the decision to center the series finale around the confrontation between Kamir and Soul relatively late in the production process of Disney Star Wars, in a revealing interview where Leslye Headland disclosed that the original plans did not include the Sith in the final episode. But this late-stage decision indicates a significant shift in the show's narrative trajectory, reflecting a major change from the initial storyline that was developed. And she was quoted saying, "As first, we weren't planning to have him in episode 6, Leslye Headland explained. The original concept was for the character to leave the conflict unresolved, pursue other storylines in the finale, and then return to him at the end of the series. However, after witnessing Manny Giacchino's screen test with the helmet and cloak and observing his rigorous practice of the fight choreography, I realized that not including the show with him, concluding the show with him facing off against Soul would be missed opportunity. The audience's reaction would have been overwhelmingly negative if we didn't capitalize on this dramatic potential. It became clear that this showdown was crucial. I think the whole thing was actually a farce, but this revelation underscores the impact of Jacinto's performance and importance of the climatic battle in shaping the finale of the series. But Leslye Headland isn't alone in her enthusiasm for this battle scene. Now, members of Disney's Star Wars cast and crew have echoed her sentiments, expressing their dedication to crafting a sequence that surpasses the memorable battle that concluded the first Star Wars prequel. Now, the team is committed to delivering a scene that they think resonates deeply with fans, aiming to create the moment that will be remembered and celebrated for years to come. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly back in April, Daphne Keane, who portrays Jackie Long, shared her excitement about the project, where she said, "We discussed this goal extensively. Our primary objective was to exceed the Darth Maul fight, which is arguably the most iconic and unforgettable duel in the Star Wars franchise. That scene is exceptional, and we were incredibly eager to develop our own lightsaber duels. We aim to honor the art and skill inherent in these fights and to recapture that classic Star Wars essence. Our goal was to create a sequence that not only wows the audience, but also demonstrates the meticulous craftsmanship involved in these epic battles." Now, Leslye Headland is just really using these comments to go ahead and boast about the show in hopes of there being a Disney Star Wars The Acolyte Season 2. Now, Leslye Headland is using the Sith and nostalgia to get fan support for the Disney Star Wars in The Acolyte Season 2 by making comments like how it was inspired by non-Star Wars lore movies, which most of them were created after the original George Lucas Star Wars trilogy. Better yet, Leslye Headland is claiming to use some non-science fiction movies to try and woo people over to watch Disney Star Wars The Acolyte, and from what the ratings are saying, it's not working. Hasn't worked. And Leslye Headland is also going to do this to get normies, to those who aren't fans of Star Wars, to watch and enjoy it. And that's the same move the creators of Madam Web made to gain fans. And Leslye Headland is marketing out Disney Star Wars The Acolyte to the wrong audience. And quite frankly, to say that, the dual fight scene from the Phantom Menace, I mean, it was excellent, but I wouldn't say it was the best ever. I wouldn't say it was the best ever, because of the fact that a lot of people are also stating that the fight between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, who became Darth Vader in Revenge of the Sith, well, that it basically had much more of an emotional grasp to it, if you will. But the fact of the matter is that more people love the George Lucas original Star Wars trilogy and stuff more than his prequels, and to say that the fight scenes were based on the Phantom Menace as well as Matrix wanting to be better than them, well, that in itself is how you lose actually not only the audiences, but you're also going to not gain the new ones that you're trying to aim for. And quite frankly, Disney Star Wars The Acolyte under Kathleen Kennedy by Leslye Headland is a flop. It's a failure, and I'm not banking on season 2 for The Acolyte, but people out there stating that it's going to happen, and it's also being put out there on social media. But I'm guarantee you that those are bots or shells saying that, and not actual audience members. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts you may have this particular topic. If you enjoyed when I shared this video, go ahead, smash the like button, and share far wide across social media. And if you have done so already and you enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification, so that way you're notified of future uploads and updates. Until then, peace.